This video is going to be about my experience going to film school and what my life looks like 5 years after graduating. Once upon a time, I decided I wanted to go to film school. And the reason for that is I've always been curious about it. I was always the kind of teenager that loved to make home videos and music videos, and one of those kids that really love media production and YouTube. Into my late teens and early 20s, I was really into making YouTube videos and travel vlogs, and I even bought a MacBook just so I could specifically get iMovie, so I could edit, because at the time I don't think I was aware of other editing software anyway. And I think I really just wanted to get better at those skills and learn how to use fancy DSLR cameras and do lighting setups and editing techniques. And I went into film school with no actual film experience other than making YouTube videos. And yeah, I kind of just wanted to see what I could learn and learn how to use all the equipment and see what maybe other job opportunities I could get out of it. I did an 18-month program. I didn't do a 4-year degree. I think because I was so unsure of what I was getting into, I think 18 months was perfect for me to learn, but not too much of a time commitment. I ended up having a really great experience, if I'm being honest. I went into the program not really knowing a lot, and then during the program, we did writing exercises, so I was learning how to write scripts, and we learned a lot about making our own projects, documentaries, music videos. Making a short film was our big thesis project, and learning how to direct a short film, or just all things in general. And if you're not interested in film whatsoever and you just ended up here on the random YouTube algorithm, basically I didn't really care about short films before film school either. I wasn't really watching short films. I also just wanted to watch the movies that you see at the movie theater, and that's that. I wasn't really looking for indie projects or even Canadian made movies. For context, I'm in Canada, so the Canadian film industry is it's small, but there's a lot of Canadian talent. But of course, even watching Canadian movies, you don't really see a lot of popular Canadian movies. Maybe more so now, but back in my college days, I'm not sure. I mean, there's still a lot of Canadian made movies, but I just wasn't, I guess, aware of them. So that was part of my experience too, was learning about Canadian filmmakers and Canadian projects. But anyway, all I'm getting at is before film school, I wasn't really watching those things. And making a short film, turns out, is pretty important if you want to be a filmmaker. It's kind of, well, at least at the time, I guess this is before COVID, before TikTok really became super popular and everything like that. So at the time, we were still taught making a short film is your way to kind of figure out your signature directing and writing techniques and what makes you stand out from other filmmakers and your style, things like that. And the only reason I'm mentioning that is because after having the opportunity to make a short film for the first time and write and direct it and get nice feedback about it, basically people actually liking it, I was thinking wow, maybe am I do I have potential to be good at this? And that feeling kind of happened often throughout my film school experience. It was the first time other people were looking at my projects, and again, no one was saying that I was some prodigy, super talented and wow, she's going to go out and do big things. But I don't know, it was just the first time in my life where I was making stuff and people I was getting, just good feedback from my peers and my instructors. And so that made me feel really good. And yeah, by the end of the program, my 18-month program in film school, I left feeling like super confident, like probably my most confident self. And I remember feeling so inspired. And after making my thesis short film, which is here on YouTube, which I really liked, like, because it was a fun one. It was like a romantic comedy short film about a girl getting her period during a one-night stand. So that one was like fun to make because it was like a comedy. And I remember thinking back, like I wanted to make romantic comedies or just comedies. And yeah, I think I just really like reflecting on that time in my life because that was the last time I felt that inspired to create things. And it just felt so good to be like thinking, wow, like I did it. I did the right thing. I went down the right path. I'm going down the right path. This is what I want to do, is film stuff. And I mean, I will say, like, the awards happen to be right here. Like, there are a couple awards that happened. This one was for best editing for a short film, the short film I made. And this one shared the award for best picture for a short film that I made. So, you know, after like actually getting like awards for stuff, like that was, and again, I know it's not like an Oscar. I'm not saying, but for me, it was like a super big deal to like actually get recognized with like an award for something. Like I was like, that's never happened to me before. So when like awards were happening for certain projects, mainly for the short film, my thesis short film, I was thinking like, wow, like, okay, like I think I really gotta lock in and go down this path of becoming a filmmaker. And I guess this is just where the story kind of takes a turn, because I guess right out of school, to get experience working in the real world, I fell into working as an AD, or I should say rather basically like a production assistant, but for the assistant director department, which if you've never heard of that before, basically that whole assistant director department is in charge of keeping the entire crew on time and making sure they get all their shots done and keeping everyone safe on set and just kind of running things efficiently and safely. So that's kind of what that whole department is for. And like during my time in film school, like during our other student productions, like I was helping out other sets as being an assistant director and making the call sheets and the shooting schedule and running the day. And I don't know, like I just remember like actually feeling like maybe I'm good at this. But it wasn't until I got to like the real world where things started to feel not so good anymore. And yeah, long story short, like it's a really stressful role. And even though I didn't really work on like a lot of like super high tier productions, I was still feeling super stressed all the time. Every day on set, like I just started to feel like my nervous system was starting to kind of really shut down. And like often I would come home from set in tears, and it was just like, what's happening to me? I held back from sharing any of this for years because I kind of was holding on to like a small bit of hope that maybe I would want to go back to working on set. But it's been like 5 years now, and I think I've finally realized, like I'm aware that any sort of, I don't know, industry networking connections I had are like long gone, and that's fine. I'm really grateful for the opportunities that I did have. Like, honestly, I am super grateful for all those times, even though they were hard. I'm really glad that people gave me a chance to get work on set because that was like a huge dream of mine. I just had one day where I was like, it was a really stressful day on a particular set, and things were kind of all over the place and everyone was stressed out and I was getting yelled at for things that were absolutely not my fault. Like being like shouted at and sworn at by a fellow crew member. And I don't know, like I've worked in stressful jobs before, but I just think it gets to a point when you're treating your own colleagues that way, like it crosses a line. And I just looked around on set and I was like, I don't think I can do this anymore. I think I'm letting go of this dream, because I kind of thought like, oh, if I stick it out, if I keep doing this kind of work, then I can get into the union and then I can get more experience working on these like union shows. And then maybe I can, I don't know, make connections and like partner with certain people and make, I thought I was just going down the right path of like, maybe I'll get to the point where I can make my own stuff. And yeah, that day was just really rough and I decided I just couldn't do it anymore. So I quit my union apprenticeship I was doing at the time. And I just was like, I need a break, and maybe I'm burnt out. I don't know what's going on, but I just need a break from all this film stuff. So since then, I've just been working in a, corporate job, not film related at all. And, like I'm happy, like my current life, like fast forward to now, in 2026, like I am happy. Like I'm happy with my job, I'm happy with where I live, and if anything, film school was still a great time for me because I made some of my best friends and I even met my current partner in film school. So we live together now and we have a dog and we have a cat, and like there's a lot of life stuff that I'm really happy about. But something that kind of keeps me up at night sometimes still is this feeling of, what am I doing creatively? Like I think film school really kind of got in my head, because like I learned all these things about like just like that was just a place where I got to just really express parts of myself that I hadn't done before, and just to be in a place where there's other creative people and you're all getting these creative ideas and you're inspired by each other. And that was just like, that felt so good. And now all my film friends are out actually working in the industry and working on TV shows or film sets, and or even, still like low budget stuff and high budget stuff. And they're still like, even though I hear stories of how hard their set days are, they're still doing it because they really love it. And I truly love that for them. And because I know I don't get to see them often, and it's because they're out busy doing what they love. And I love that for them so much. But I will say it is affecting me, like, because I kind of feel like I'm the only one, at least in my little group of friends, that, well, not the only one. I can definitely think of at least one other person who is kind of in a similar position as me, where, we both are creative, but we don't really work in film anymore, but we could try to do it in other ways. And I guess like I'm 30 years old now, and I just kind of feel like, if my like 25-year-old self could see me now, like I think she would be a little disappointed that her film dreams did not come true. But ultimately, maybe it wasn't meant to, and that's fine. Maybe like my life is, there's other things in store that aren't including film. But yeah, I think I'm still struggling with a lot of complicated feelings of like, why aren't I ambitious anymore? Why can't I get inspired to create anymore? Like I'm kind of still just like, what's going on up there? Like, why did I used to spend all this money to like want to be creative and spend all this time and energy to like plan these projects and make them? And for some reason now I just don't, like, the ideas I do have, like I don't have the burning desire to go out and make them anymore. Or at least not right now. And for someone who I've just carried this sense of an identity of like, oh, I'm a creative person. Like I went to film school and I've made films and I've written scripts. And to go from like all that in my head to like, oh, like I just go to work and I come home and I walk my dog and I think about what I'm going to have for dinner and when I'm going to go grocery shopping, and I'm not really planning time for creative stuff anymore. And that's kind of what leads me to YouTube, because YouTube, I feel like, has always been the place like where I feel like I get excited to film something and I get excited to edit something and just put it out there. I guess you could say I'm having an identity crisis, and for some reason, when I went to film school 5 years ago, I technically started like 7 years ago. Like I just think back to that person I was and how, just how excited I was to be starting that new chapter in my life and all the beautiful things that came from my experience. And I just feel like I was like kind of like the best version of myself was in film school, because that's kind of when I was confident and meeting new people that had similar interests as me. And we all just got to become friends. And because I also moved to a different city, so like I had like no friends except my mom. Hi, Mom, if you're watching this. Like me and my mom were like besties, and so yeah, getting to like not only make stuff but also make it with friends was like a really fun time in my life. And I think that's why I feel so attached to that time in my life still. Like I don't want to fully let it go, because I keep in my mind, like I think I keep wanting to like go back to that version of myself, and obviously you can't go back. You can only move forward. And now that it's been so many years, like I'm kind of still just like, what's the fast forward to cut to what point in my life where I got to where I want to be? And I'm still not sure. I'm still just kind of going through life thinking, I wonder if I'll ever actually make that project. I wonder if I'll ever actually write that script. I wonder if I'll ever write that book or, make that music video. For some reason, there's just something that keeps me from sitting down to like start planning out any other projects. Like the most recent project I made was a short film called Lifeline that for some reason it's just been sitting on my private Vimeo link for like almost a year at this point, I think. It technically premiered at TIFF last year, but I say that with quotation marks because it wasn't like selected as an official selection for TIFF. The film school that I went to had like a booth there where they were showcasing student work. So I decided to have my short film premiere there because it was a really cool place to just have it play during the TIFF festival, which was awesome. And also just speaking of TIFF, like I won a contest so I could go to TIFF last year, and that was like actually super awesome to like have a badge and like go walk around TIFF and like go see all these movies. And going to that festival, that film festival, really reminded me of like what it felt like to be in a space around just like film people and going to these talks. Like I remember going to one with like Mariska Hargitay was there talking about her documentary that she produced and one that she directed. And it was just so fun to like go see people like that you admire so much, and just like getting to go to screenings of films that no one else has seen yet. And like thinking back now, like that was such an exciting time to like get to go to TIFF, because that was also such a dream of mine to like go. And now that TIFF's coming up pretty soon, yeah, like I'm not going this year, but yeah, I'm really glad I got to go last year. And just like my relationship with film in general, like because I paid attention to how last year's festival felt to me and like how exciting it felt. So I thought that was telling me like, like maybe you still have that desire in you somewhere to like one day be back here and like have a film premiere here someday. Like maybe a part of you still wants to do that. And I will say that is something fun about the industry, is like there's not really like an age limit. Like you can start making and producing, directing kind of whenever you want, whenever you're ready. So even though I'm 30 now, like ideally it would be great to be this like young prodigy, but I don't think that's in the cards for me. And if I ever did want to start making films, like I could. But the thing is, you kind of have to put a lot of time and energy into making a lot of work. Like you don't just make 2 short films and suddenly you're getting approached for all these deals and opportunities and projects. Like, no, like I get that that's not how it works. But what I was saying earlier about like my last short film, I just remember like that's the last project I made. And I get it. No one, unless you're like a film person, like regular people don't watch short films. Like I get it. But that short film really meant a lot to me because I think that one was coming from a place of healing from like wounds, like and trauma and things like that. So obviously that story was deeply personal to me. And I think I just had this burning desire to make it not only for my own like therapeutic release, but I also was just making it hoping that it could help someone else from going through like a similar situation. It's not like the story is fictional, but it's based on true events. It's just like a depiction. Anyway, yeah. But I will say, like making that project, like I'm so glad that I had my film friends and my like partner who's like a cinematographer film it, and all the people that came together to like make it because they saw something about the script that they knew was like meaningful. And so the film is made, it's completed, it's been screened, and that was exciting. Very exciting, very grateful that it was to complete a project. Felt really good for the first time out of film school. But when I didn't get a bunch of, accolades or whatever after sharing that film, I think at maybe 3 festivals total. Obviously, like, again, I should have submitted it to more festivals, of course, but I think I'm going to share it on YouTube. Probably soon, because I just want the film out there, and I think I've hesitated for a while because I keep thinking to myself, like, is there something else I'm supposed to be doing with this film? Trigger warning, the film does touch on depression and mental illness and, suicidal thoughts and things like that. So it's a hard watch for sure. But I think that film did heal a lot of things in me. So even though it's not like deemed as like a theatrical success or whatever we want to call it, like I am still glad that it's made and the people I really care about came to watch it, especially like my family. Like I remember it premiered, there was a screening for it in my hometown, and like a lot of most of my immediate family and friends came to watch it, which really meant a lot to me because I know that like maybe going to film festivals wasn't like something that they'd ever done before, but yeah, it was really, that was a really great memory actually, just now thinking about it. Lots of great memories of seeing, just seeing your film with the people who care about you is a really nice feeling. So, but yeah, anyway, I don't really know what feeling I'm chasing anymore. I'm glad that I have those nice memories. I really am. But I don't really know what I'm supposed to be chasing now. Especially when it comes to film and creativity. Yeah, like it's kind of like my mind goes blank now. Like I don't see a perfect picture of what I want my future to look like. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm sitting with a lot of feelings of, geez, like even though I'm sure my name isn't like a memorable name at the film school I went to, I'm still left feeling like, like I feel like maybe my teachers and maybe peers like expected more from me. And something happened and I decided to just end all that potential. But yeah, it's just hard to kind of sit with yourself and think, okay, like I'm not the success story I thought I would be. I know there's success in my life in other ways, but in terms of film, like those are hard thoughts to sit with. But anyway, I should just wrap it up here. That is my film school experience, how it started, where I'm at now. Kind of keep feeling I was supposed to end this video on like a positive note. Like I'm fine, happy, healthy. I think I'm just chasing that feeling of knowing that I belong in something. Like maybe it's like the feeling of being involved in a community, a creative community. And I think maybe that's what YouTube is gonna hopefully be. That's my story, that's my experience. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.